Hey y'all, so what's up? It's Chunky up in this motherfucker. And I am gonna be technically this will be called a story time, but honestly, I just want to talk to you guys as if you guys were right here with me, and I'm just kind of like, and you come to me for advice, and I kind of tell you my story and what I went through, and you know, just kind of give you some thoughts and some advice after I tell you. So let me see, how do I get into this? Because I'm not that type of bitch that, like, for some reason, some people do these story times so well, like almost as if they're like, if they practice this shit, and I am not that type of bitch. Y'all already know what type of bitch I am, so I'm just trying to like figure out how to get into it. Okay, so back when after I had my first daughter is 9 now. And is she 9? Yeah, she's 9 now. Okay, so back when, after I had my first child, my baby's father is in prison. If y'all don't know about that story and you want to know about that story, go ahead, subscribe to my channel. You know, it's called, I think it's called Baby Daddy Drama. That's the video. You could go ahead and be nosy. Look at that video. It tells you about how my baby's father is locked up and shit like that. Well, my first baby father, because I got 2 baby daddies, and if you have some shit to say about that, fuck you. So yeah, back when after my baby's father went to prison, and my daughter was maybe about, you know, after 3 months, I started to snap back, and I started to, because I was very depressed after I had her. I was depressed. I was losing a lot of weight, not even trying, just because I was depressed. You know, after you have a baby, your emotions are running crazy, your hormones are crazy, and you're just not yourself. And especially because you're in a lot of pain because of childbirth. I had a C-section, so it took me a while to get back to myself and be able to walk and everything. So, you know, after I started to get my snapback, and I started to like feel better, and I started to have like a little pep in my step, and you know, starting to be able to get back to myself, feeling like myself after pregnancy, after C-section, after all that. I started to kind of start feeling like lonely. Things started hitting me. And I was just like, yo, I need, like I want a man. Like, I want a man. So, after, like, not that I needed a man, but, like, you know, like, I didn't want to be lonely. Like, I just felt like I was going to be lonely the rest of my life. But on top of that, you know, right when I started to feel better, a real good, I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to cry, because I do have my makeup on, and I am going to do another video later. So, I'm just gonna tell you that a good friend of mine died right in between feeling better, getting myself back together, situating life in my head. Bam, bad news. And I saw him the day before he died, and I showed him the baby. Like, me and him were so close. People thought that the baby was his. I even think he thought he was the baby's father, because the way he was acting, like when I told him I was pregnant, I don't know. That's another story, but yeah, people thought he was the baby's father, but he's not. I know my baby's daddy. So he passed away. He passed away the day I seen him, but ooh, I don't know. I just had a crazy, like, whenever I say that I seen him before he died, I blink and I could just like see the way I seen his face that day, the day before he died, looking at his face, looking at him, and I don't know. But anyway, so that hit me. And this is just to put you in a kind of mind frame that I was in, okay? So to top it off, I gave birth. I just got over my C-section. I was still in pain, but I just got over my C-section. I was feeling better. Bam, I get a bombshell that, you know, my friend, my cousin, my brother, he was my friend, he was my cousin, he was my brother, he was, you know, he wasn't actual blood family. He was my one of my aunt's good friend that she knew since she was a little girl. They lived with us for a couple of years. That was her son. And my aunt knew her back when she was younger, back before he was born. They knew each other back before we both were born. And then when we were born, you know, it was like they were best friends. So we were always around each other ever since, you know, he died, since before he died. Up until he died, he was 24 when he died. So he was 24 years old when he died. And, so anyways, oof, that always fucking gets me. It always fucking gets me talking about him. It was really, really hard on me. Like, it was really fucking hard on me. And I started to drink. You know, I started to go out. I started to smoke cigarettes. I was just falling downhill. I was going into depression. I was smoking, drinking. Just imagine, like, just put yourself where I was. Try to visualize, you know, trying to get yourself back up and trying to get yourself out of it. And then boom, like, it's just like, whoa. It was just like, whoa. So yeah, I started drinking, I started smoking weed. I started trying to do any kind of something I could just to numb myself. Drinking did numb me a lot. And I found myself drinking during the day. I found myself drinking by myself. I found myself drinking myself to sleep by myself, you know. I just found myself just drinking. Yes, I had a child. If, you know, I know you're going to ask that. I know people will be like, where's your baby? Well, I lived with my mom at the time. So my mom seen me going through this. She kind of, I think the only thing that she could do at that point was just make sure my daughter was okay. Just make sure that my baby was okay. Of course, like, you know, I did take care of my baby when I was okay, but when I wasn't, I would just hand her off to my mom. We lived in the same house, so it wasn't like you know. But anyways, I don't have to explain that. I'm not there anymore. I'm fucking way past that shit. So, yeah, she was only a couple of months, and then I was drinking, partying, blah blah blah, whoop-de-whoop. And this was all fueled too by one of my good friends. She well, she's not my friend anymore, one of my ex-friends. But she was an alcoholic as well. So we were drinking buddies. We drink, we party, we smoke, we fucking just, you know, she was going through her own shit. So we were going through our shit together, and it was just a fucking tangled web of fucking depression and alcohol. And, you know, her and her boyfriend were off and on. But then when her boyfriend, you know, got back with her, I was like the third wheel. And I was like, yo, like, I'm way too fucking fine. Like, I lost a lot of weight. Imagine, like, if y'all think I'm curvaceous right now, like, when I lose weight, it's just like, bam. Like, it's just like my full figure comes out. I still had my booty. Like, I will try to find a picture to show you how big my booty was, but my booty will never lose weight. But my booty, just imagine, you know, I was thinner, my stomach was flat. I was still thick, but I was slim thick, and I had a big ass booty still. So I was like, damn, I'm too damn motherfucking fine to be single. Like, how am I fucking third wheel? But I guess I was just like drinking too much. I did meet guys, but it was just like, and it was just like, I didn't feel like having anything serious because I was in too much pain. Like, I couldn't put myself into it because I was too busy putting myself into, when I wasn't drinking and partying, into my baby. That sounds pretty fucked up, but hey, it's true. And if you can't handle it, then fucking click out. And so I just fucking was just like, you know what, like, I started to think, like, I kind of started to kind of feel lonely. And one day I was taking a walk to go buy my daily cigarettes because I'd smoke like a fucking pack a day, pack of cigarettes. I'd go buy a pack of cigarettes. I'd go buy a 40. I'll go buy a whole bottle, finish it to myself, buy a little liquor bottle, down it before I go home, and be drunk and you know, smoke my cigarettes or smoke my bud before I get home. And then I was good. Like, that was like my medication. It wasn't right, but hey, at the time, you know what it is. And so when I was walking, it was the daytime, and I was walking to the store, and around the corner from where I lived was El Superior. That is a Mexican market, and a Mexican supermarket. And I see these two fools standing outside, and I'm like, yo, who these fools? Because they look like they weren't from around there. And y'all know when y'all see somebody in your hood, and especially in front of a Mexican market, and they dress like, basically one was a big tall black fool and one was like a light skinned black fool. You know, he had like a brushed back fro in a ponytail. And I seen that, and I was like, yo, I kind of think that's cool. Like, I think that's cute. You know, his hair, I liked his hair. And he had like a little swagger about him. He was light skinned, and he was black, but he was real light skinned. He was like a little bit darker than me. And him and homie were just standing outside the market. I'm like, yo, like, what are y'all doing right here? Like, they seen me walking, and they were standing there, so they see me coming, so they just turned like, yo, who's this, you know? And when they see me, I would, like, you know, obviously, you know, he found me attractive. Obviously, you know. Just kidding. But, you know, he was like, yo, mommy, like, trying to, like, shoot some game at me. And I was like, first things first, what are y'all doing out here in front of, like, what are y'all doing out here, like, kicking it out here? Like, he's like, you know what? Like, we just hit it off. We started talking. He found it funny that I asked him why he was standing outside the market, because no one's ever asked him that shit. And he was like, yo, no one's ever asked us that shit. Like, that's so funny that you, like, kind of, like, was like, what the fuck, you know? He's like, this is the first time anybody's ever asked us that. He's like, I'm a loss prevention officer. Like, we work at stores, we get people that steal and stuff like that. And yeah, like, I'm a loss prevention. So loss prevention is just like kind of like undercover security guards that are at stores, and sometimes you don't see them because they're dressed like regular people. They act like they're shopping. There's like usually a team. Some people are out in the shopping center looking for people that are stealing, acting like they're shopping. And then there's another team that's upstairs in the camera room looking at the cameras, talking to them like on an earpiece, or acting like they're talking to talking on the phone to like their wife or something, but really they're talking to the other team that's in the place. But whatever. So that intrigued me because I never knew. Like, luckily I didn't steal, like, but you know, I never knew that there was a loss prevention like officer type of shit, and I was really interested in it, and I found him attractive. So he was a big guy. He was like a big teddy bear. He had a fro. He was light skinned. He was from Compton. He was a really big guy. He was like big husky chunky man, and he was, you know, significantly taller than me. But yeah, so, you know, long story short, one thing leads to another. I give him my number. We start dating. You know, I start to get to know him, and I didn't have him meet my daughter yet. We just went on dates. We drank a lot together. We smoked. Those to me, like, if you could drink and smoke with me in those days, like, you were like my type, like, because I love to drink and I love to smoke, and that was numbing me. That was my medication. So we drank and smoked together a lot, and that right there is already like fuel, you know, fuel. And he was very charming, and it was just, I mean, I know it sounds like excuses, but you have to put all that in consideration. I'm talking to this man. He's very charming. I'm lonely. I just had a baby. Like, I'm depressed. My friend just died. It's just, all this put together was just not a good combination. And ultimately, he started becoming abusive with me. And the first situation, I'll go through, you know, a couple of situations that I went through with him. on the first situation that when he first got physical with me was, I started to not feel well. I started to feel sad. I don't know why, just this deep depression came over me, and I started to miss my daughter. And it was one of those days where I was with him, I'd kick it with him. He was from a crew from Compton, and at the same time, like, I thought he was a good guy because he worked and he had a stable job and he had a car and he seemed stable, but he was from a gang. And we would kick it with his crew and drink and party and blah, blah, blah. And I just started to realize I miss my daughter. Like, what am I doing? You know, like, when I started to come back out of my senses, because that day I remember I wasn't drinking that much, and because my stomach was hurting, and I just was like, kind of, I guess, when I was sober, when I wasn't drinking, when I wasn't high, when I wasn't numbing myself, life started to dawn on me. Things started to dawn on me. So I told him, like, I want to go home. Like, can we go home in a few hours or an hour? Or, you know, I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'm just not feeling well. He starts getting suspicious, like, why? Like, you have somebody else? Saying that maybe I have somebody else. Do I want to talk to somebody else? Saying some weird shit. And I put it as to, oh, he's drunk. He's just acting stupid. So, I kind of pressure him to take me home. And he's like, okay, if I'm going to take you home, I have to put gas. We stop at the gas station. And, I'm sitting there in the gas station. He goes in the gas station. He's taking a while. I don't know. I think he want to go use the restroom. These 3 guys pass by and see me sitting in the car. You know, natural reaction in this. You see a beautiful girl in the car, you're going to try to get at her. You know, these fools. So they're like, what's up, mommy? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, no. Like, I'm not like that. I'm not a hoe. I'm not a fucking shicey ass hoe like that. And I just ignored them. I was just like, He comes out. He proceeds to see these guys trying to holler at me. And he thinks that I gave them my number. He starts assuming shit. It just made it worse. And I'm like, these guys start to see us argue, and they're yelling, "Are you okay?" Like, and I'm just like, I tell them, like, damn, like, you see what you did? And they're like, well, get out the car, we'll take you home, blah, blah, blah. It just fueled this whole fucking fight. And he was getting angry. He's like, go with them. Getting angry. He speeds off. He's speeding. He jumps on the freeway. I'm fucking scared. I'm scared out of my mind. And I start yelling, screaming, slow down, slow down, slow down. He grabs the back of my head, starts fucking just going like this to me like a fucking rag doll. And then I'm fighting him, and he just grabs my hair and just pushes my head down, is just pushing my head down and pushing my whole body down, like, towards the seat, and just holds me there. He's a strong guy, and he has huge hands, and he just holds me down for, like, basically almost the whole time, you know, and talking shit to me the whole time. And when we're getting off the freeway, going, like, almost to my house, he lets me go. I could feel my neck hurting. I could feel my back, like, because he held me half of the way home. And it's from Compton to Pico Rivera, Compton, like, to Montebello. So, you know, it's quite a while. And finally we get off the freeway, and he's like, I'm sorry. He starts crying. I'm crying. I'm trying to get myself together because I gotta go in the house, and I know my mom has the baby, so I gotta tell her, like, I gotta talk to my mom and tell her, like, hey mom, I'm home, you know. Like, I have to talk to my mom when I get home, because when I get in the house, as soon as I get in the house, she starts hearing noise, she'll wake up, she's gonna come. So I'm trying to get myself together because I don't want my mom to know. Like, I just don't want my mom to know. And so I'm, like, trying to get myself together. Like, I'm like, you know, like, and he's fucking telling me, like, I'm sorry. And so, yeah, that was the first situation. And, you know, it wasn't the last, because my stupid ass, I mean, I did break up with him for a couple of days, and you know, I was like, that's it. Like, what the fuck? You think I'm stupid? Like, I'm not gonna fucking let you do that shit to me. So, I broke it off with him, and he still proceeded to call me. He still, like, was consistent on trying to call me, trying to, like, you know, get in contact with me. And, I started to get lonely again. I started to go back into what I was doing before, because, you know, I just started to brainwash myself. I started to drink again. I started to get depressed again, and I started to miss the times that he would pick me up. And like, it was just every day. Like, if I don't know, every day if I wasn't with him, like, I was at home with my baby. But it was just like day after day after day, the same thing, the same routine, waking up, going to sleep, the same routine with my child. And, you know, and I just needed some time to myself. And I wasn't working at the time. And kind of what fueled it too is that he worked and he had money. So he persuaded me with money, and like, you know, I'll take you out, like, come on. Like, he proceeded to, I started to kind of slowly text him, because he texted me, he's like, I want to see you, like, I'll take you out to eat, I have something for you, I have a present for you, you know, I want to take you somewhere. And he was saying that his cousin owned a restaurant, and we're gonna have the hookups and all this expensive food and wine and blah blah blah. And so I said, all right. And he brought me flowers, he bought me a ring, and he bought me like a $500 ring. I know that's not a lot, but he was like, you know, it's only $500, and but you know, this is just a sorry ring, I'll buy you another ring, like, more expensive. This is just, you know, for now. And it wasn't like an engagement or anything, it was just a ring to say I'm sorry. So he gave me flowers, he gave me a ring, he took me shopping. So things, I guess, you know, he said I'll never do that again. I was just drunk. And, you know, he started to proceed to make me feel bad for him, because he said that his baby's mother, so he had 3 kids, and his baby's mother, like, really damaged his heart. His baby mom was a hoe. He caught her, like, having sex with somebody in his car, and all this shit. He don't know if his older son is his, and all this shit. Like, and he really did make me feel bad for him. So I went back. Things were good for a while. The second incident is when I invited him to, me and my friend started to get back to talking again, because she had broke up with her man. Every time she would break up with her man, she'll call me back, and she was like, you know, I broke up with him, I put him in jail. He tried, like, we started connecting, because she was saying her man, you know, when she put him in jail because he hit her. And I was like, you know, hey, you know, I connect with you on that, because this is what this food did to me. Like, I don't know what to do. And we started connect like that during the time I broke up with him. So we were already friends, and I was kicking it with her. And somehow her man, she got back with her man, I was with my man, so we're like, let's kick it. At the same time, she was having like a little kickback, and these fools that I had known that lived by her apartments, these guys are like, you know, guys that lived around the apartments. They were cool, they were cholitos, they like from a little crew right there, like within her apartment complex. They were cool, they never disrespected me. They tried to get at me once, and I was like, no, you know. So they were like, okay, cool then, like, you don't want to be with us, you're the homegirl. And they were cool, they were my homies. And so we were all together drinking. I invited him over, and I used to, oh, shit. Okay, so since these guys were cool, I figured, you know, I kick it with them a lot when I kick it like with my homegirl at her pad, and these fools are always around. And I wanted him to meet them so like he could know like they're cool. What the hell do I have up here? Anyway, so we were all drinking, having fun. She was having a little kickback at her house. I invited him over. I was like, hey, you know, like, let's change the scenery up. You come and kick it with me and my homegirl. So he comes, and back then I used to burn him CDs because I had a CD burner, and I would burn all the hip hop, you know, and I would burn him, you know, music for him, and I would write on the CD like, to my baby, you know, from D and stuff like that. And I would write, he knew my writing already, so like every one of his CDs like that he had on his car, because I remember when I went with him, like all his CDs were scratched, he didn't have new music, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make you some CDs. So pretty much all his CDs he had like said to baby or my baby and like stuff like that. So that was like a little thing between us. And you know, just to kind of, I'll get into that after. But anyways, so it just so happens, you know, we're having a good time. We're vibing. Everybody's cool. We start playing this game. I think it's called King's Cup, or it was like a game where we all got in a circle and we were playing. We were drinking. It was a drinking game. And he was fucking actually having fun. And I was really happy that we were vibing. We were all vibing. And all of a sudden, like, the music starts getting kind of dull. So there's one of these fools, like, one of the guys was like, hey, I'm gonna put the CD on. The CD that he brought up, I looked twice because it said, like, it had writing on it. Just my motherfucking luck. Like, the writing says baby. It says something, like, you can see it from far. It says BAB something, and it has writing on it. He's like, oh, I'm gonna put the CD on that, you know, my girl made me. And I'm just like, and he like is like looking like, you know, because he's standing, you know, a little bit of ways, and he's holding the CD up, and I look and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, I kind of like think about it. I'm like, nah. So I was like, nah, and I continue to, like, you know, talk to my friend on this side, talk to this person, and, you know, take a drink of my beer and continue to vibe. And I noticed him from the side, like, get like a weird face, and just like his face just totally changes, his vibe just totally changes, and he seems irritated, and he's like smacking his lips, and he seems like mad, and he's like, yo, I'm about to go right now. And I'm just like, what do you mean? He's like, nah, I'm about to go, I'm about to leave, like, I'm done, you know. And I'm just like, what? And he's like, he tells that fool before he leaves, like, let me see that CD. And the fool goes, what? Why? Like, you know. And he's like, yo, let me just see that CD. And the fool's like, all right, you know. And he's like, all right, okay. And then that fool goes, what's up? What's the matter? And I was just like, everybody noticed that something was wrong. That fool was like, what's up? Like, are you okay? Like, and that fool, my man just, you know, my ex just walks away. So I run after him. We start arguing. He says I made him that CD. He says it's me. Yo, you dude have something going on. I'm like, no, what the fuck? I didn't make him that CD. I kept telling him, like, I didn't make him that CD. Like, I did not make him that CD. And he was like, oh, the neighbor's coming home. I was like, yo, I didn't make him that CD. I kept telling him, and I was walking with him. We was walking out the complex. He walks to his car. He's like, get in. We need to talk about this. So I get in the car. My mom brought me a Red Bull, so I get in the car, and he slaps me across the face. Boom, bitch slaps me. And I'm just like, yo, you fucking bitch. Like, you're a bitch. You're a fucking bitch. Like, I can't believe you hit me. It's over. We're done. Like, that's it. Like, and I'm crying. I'm holding my face. He's like, that was your writing. That was your motherfucking writing. And I was like, no, how could it be my writing? I never fucking, like, let's go back. Let's ask him. Let me talk. Like, I was still trying to prove myself, even though I knew that I wanted it to be over. I, like a stupid ass, ended up going back to him. And there was another incident. I'm just gonna fast forward. We went to Las Vegas. He wanted to take me to Vegas, and he was gonna be working up there. Basically, long story short, he ends up choking me the last day of Vegas. I didn't want to have sex with him because I wasn't feeling well. I was having like some girly issues. I was already like gonna start my period. I wasn't feeling well. I told him like, no, I don't want to have sex with you. Like, I didn't say it like that, but I was like, no, you know, not right now. Like, I'm tired. It's the last day. Like, I just want to get ready. We could just go. Like, I'm not feeling well and stuff like that. You know, I'm having womanly issues. And he's just like, he just fucking just grabs me by the neck, chokes me, pulls my hair, throws me on the bed, forces himself on me. And I was really sad. I was really hurt. I was really upset, obviously. So I just fucking, I was just done. Like, I was just fucking done, you know? So I get home and I'm upset. My mom notices that I'm kind of upset, and I just tell her I'm tired, you know. And I continue to ignore his calls. I continue to there was a couple of other incidences, but those are like the major ones. But this last incident, I stopped trying to, I wanted to like be done with him. So I was completely ignoring him. He was calling my house. He was just basically stalking me. And he kept telling me like he was gonna be outside my house. He's gonna come every day until I open the door. And he's like, I'm coming tonight. Like, I had okay, so basically in my room that I was staying in, it was a really big room, and it had its own entrance. It was like a kind of like a back house, and it had its own entrance. And yeah, I could basically come and go as I please. You know, I'm older, and it was like only suitable. I actually lived like in the, like, it was attached to the house, like it was in the house, but it had like its own entrances, like its own door, so you could go in the house, and its own door, like, so you could leave the house, like on two different sides. And then it had its own entrance into the kitchen. So it had an entrance into, like, it had 3 doors in my room. One door to get in the house, one door to get in the kitchen, and one door to leave out. So it was convenient for me. I moved in there after I had my baby, because it was, you know, I was an older woman already, like, you know, in her 20s, you know, with a child. And my aunt just said, like, you know, you can move in there. And I had been living in there for a while. And so he was like, he got used to knowing that he could come in the back house, like knowing he could go to my side of my door and knock on it, and like know that it's open, or know like the gate's open for him, or the gate opens or whatever, but it also locks. So he was like, I'm coming to your back door, like, I don't give a fuck, like, I'm gonna knock until you open, I'm gonna make a scene, because that's what he's used to, because he's a little bitch ass. So while I was on the phone with him, because I answered, and he called from another number, and he was like, hey, it's me. And oh my god, I got fucking chills down my motherfucking spine. Like, I got chills down my spine, and I was like, what do you want? And he's like, listen, like, I'm going to your house, I'm gonna knock on the door, like, I will make a scene, like, just threatening me. So I was like, no, you ain't. I'm gonna call the cops, right? So as I'm talking to him, I open my back door, and I'm like in my head while I'm talking to him, I'm like, I'm gonna lock the back door, so that, I mean, the back gate, so that he can't get in, you know? And if I hear the back gate, I could just call the cops, because fuck that. Like, I'm going to just call the cops. So as I go to walk to close the back gate, this motherfucker is there. Like, I go to lock the lock, and he opens the gate. And I'm just like in shock, and I'm fucking chills down my spine. Fucking, I'm just like, you know, like I step back, like, you know, and I'm just like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I start getting mad. I start yelling at him. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Like, trying to push him, but he's a big guy. Trying to push him out the gate. And he starts getting angry, and he grabs me by my neck, and he grabs me by my neck, and he pushes me back towards my door, and he puts his hand over my face, and he pushes me in the room. When he pushes me in the room, I fall, and I'm like kind of fighting with him. He puts me in a headlock. He's choking me with his arm. And at this point, I thought he was gonna kill me. Like, that's it. I thought I was gonna die, and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna, like, this is it, you know? So he chokes me. I didn't know what was gonna happen. I was in shock. I was scared as fuck, and I didn't know what was gonna happen. So he choked me. And then I started to get dizzy, and I started to feel like everything like was going in slow motion. I guess that was like me losing my breath. I don't know what it was. I've never been choked like that before. But I started to feel like everything was like wah, 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 wah. Like it started to sound like that, and like in my ears started to like sound like he was saying something, but it was sounding like wah, wah. I felt myself getting sleepy. Then he lets go, and I just like I get my breath back, and then he just starts taking off my clothes, and that's what he wanted. So I let him do whatever he wanted, and I didn't scream. I just proceeded to let him do it, because I thought that he was gonna hurt. If my mom came in, like, I was so embarrassed. I was so fucking embarrassed. I didn't want my mom to come in and see to see me without clothes and him on top of me, and I just didn't want that. So I just let him do it, and I just acted like I was like, okay, you know, okay, baby, you know, like, I love you, like, I'm sorry, you know. I was just like, you know, acting like everything was okay. And I told him, like, look, like, I'm not feeling good, like, I kind of have the flu, like, you know, I'll call you tomorrow, I promise. And he's like, okay. And so he leaves, and I was just like in shock. The next day I went to the police station. They got him, and, you know, I got a restraining order, but he was still stalking my life. Like, he was still calling me. He was still trying to text me. He was still calling me from other numbers. He was calling my house blocked. He was calling my house and hanging up. Like, I have nightmares till this day of him trying to get me, of him trying to fucking get me. And it's fucked up, and it's scary. He's a scary man. He's a monster. Like, honestly, I think this man is a fucking monster, and I feel so horrible for whoever he's with. I don't know what I could do other than, you know, have that restraining order. And, like, I still have nightmares, though. I tell my man, like, yo, I had a nightmare that this fool, like, was trying to get me. Like, this fool was trying to break down my door. Like, it was just really fucking scary. But I haven't heard from him since. I thank God. You know, I am trying to move on from it. I just feel scared for if he is in another relationship with somebody, like if he is seeing somebody. I hope that they get out of the situation. I hope that they're not fucking stupid. You know, I was stupid for going back a few times, but I was not stupid enough to stay, because I don't want to call somebody else stupid. I'm not gonna do that. I was stupid. You know, other women, they get manipulated. They get, you know, these men come in women's life, these abusers, you know, these mentally ill men, not just men, there's, you know, women and people that get into relationships, violent relationships. They're not in their right mind. They're depressed. They might have a drug problem. They might have a drinking problem. They might not be in their right mind. And they get into these relationships and they are very vulnerable. They're very vulnerable. And I would suggest that if you're in a vulnerable situation and you feel vulnerable, do not get in a relationship. Wait until you're in the right mind. Wait till you're able to love somebody. Wait until you're able to love yourself. If you're able to love yourself, who says that? If you're able to love yourself, you're going to be able to love somebody else, you know, and that somebody else is going to be able to love you just the same. And if it's not the right relationship for you, you'll be able to be in the right mindset to know that this is not good for me. And, you know, I should have known because I was never comfortable with him meeting my daughter. Like, I never let him really, you know, be around my daughter like that because I wasn't comfortable with him meeting my daughter. If you have kids and you're vulnerable and you meet somebody and you feel in your heart you don't want them to meet your kids yet, or you don't feel right off the bat like, hey, like this person is good for my kids. If you feel that way, then that's not the person for you because it's your children first. It's your children first. If you feel like you're comfortable with them being around your children, you feel like you could trust them all the way, then that might be a good match for you, you know, because you have to worry about your kids first. But, you know, thank God I was able to get out of that situation. Thank the Lord. I didn't let it continue. This man is a monster. This man is an abuser. I found out later that his baby's mother also had a, you know, tumultuous relationship with him, and she got a restraining order on him. And I just feel like also his brother I found out his brother was in prison too because he fucking beat up his baby's mother. Like, it was just, this man, I mean, is just very, I almost wanted to say his name. Like, I almost wanted to say who he was so people could look out for him. But I don't know. Tell me what y'all think about that. But yeah, so tell me what you think about me. If that would be cool. I don't think that would be cool. I think I could get in trouble for that. But I almost want to like be like, yo, this is him. Be careful for him. You know, he's abusive and he's dangerous. But, you know, I know a lot of people go through this shit. I know a lot of girls don't get through it. A lot of girls end up dead. They end up dead. But I just want to tell you guys right now that to you young women, to you young girls, if a man ever puts his hands on you, if you don't feel comfortable around him, you don't feel like you could be yourself, if you feel like he's manipulative, if you feel like he's ever manipulates you or ever, you know, is too of a clingy person or a jealous person, or maybe might be delusional, maybe he accuses you of something that you know you didn't do, those are all signs of him being not an okay person and not a good person, and you need to back away. Don't be afraid to go away. You will find somebody. You're young, you're beautiful. Even if you aren't young, you know, if you've been going through this for years, it's okay to fucking leave, and there's help. You could get help, you know, and you could get help to fucking leave it, and you could get help. There's a lot of people that will be willing to help you. And I just wish that if somebody does come across this, they're able to know that you could have a good life after it, and you don't have to let it keep going, and you don't have to keep letting it go on, and you don't have to keep letting him hurt you. And with that being said, I'm gonna let you guys go, and I hope you guys have a great day. I hope you guys learned something from it. You know, I'm happy now. I have a very happy life, and then with a very good man. So I love you guys, and yeah, stay chunky because chunky is beautiful.